Yeah, I don't.
Hello and welcome to the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. My name's Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave, Chris, and Jose. And on behalf of the guys, we want to thank you for stopping by the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami, which I think I already said, but here we are. And, we're shaking the rust off from international break. So why not repeat a couple things? Like, for example, we'd like to give a huge shout out to our chief Heron Heads, Chow and Mari V. Thank you so much for the continued generous support. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, you will find a link in the description wherever you are listening. For those of you listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure you leave us a rating. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons if you're enjoying the show. And with all that out of the way now, because people do hate these introductions, myself included, by the way. International break is over. We were one of the few teams to not play this week, actually. But Inter Miami is back in action on Saturday in a big match against Philadelphia Union. So we will talk about that match, and we will also talk about a couple other bits of news that have come out since our last episode. So how's everyone doing? Welcome back.
Happy to be back. International during the international break? No one went anywhere.
What? Did we go anywhere? Yeah, sure. I went to Greece with no Alan.
Nice. No, we're back. We're happy to be back, man. It's been 2 weeks. You know, all these long breaks are welcomed. Obviously, it's a little break for us, but also kind of get antsy when it gets closer to that match after those 2 weeks. So we're getting there. It's a big match, Philadelphia, and yeah, we're fighting for the top spot once again. And yeah, like Julio said, we were only one of 2 teams that got international breaks. So obviously there's a lot of upset people out there. But happy to be back. We're ready to rock and roll. And that's it.
I went to Savannah.
That's not international.
Just remember. No, it's not.
The Savannah in Africa.
That's right. The Serengeti over here.
Yes, sir. All in 3 days.
He did the gladiator walk through the fields.
That's right.
That was in Spain.
He recreated it. He happened to be in Savannah. What is he going to do? Make the best of the situation.
I'm fishing. There you go. Anyways, let's get to our bullets.
There's a bullet that I didn't add to our bullets before, but Obando has officially been announced by the club, and that is a very exciting development for Inter Miami because now we officially have a backup striker behind Luis Suarez, who he's young, he's promising, he's technically Atletico Madrid player who is loaned out to us, but he arrived earlier than I expected because I expected him in the summer. But Alan Obando officially joins Inter Miami. The club announced him. He was shown off in the new kit, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he's all about.
It's cue the Thanos putting the last stone in the gauntlet gif. Just it's exactly what we needed. We needed that striker right behind Suarez, so we don't only have Suarez and nothing else, and having to kind of do a hodgepodge of Messi and Allende as the alternate striker. So this is exactly what the club needed, and like you said, really surprising that we're able to make this move at this point in the season. What was it that we had to do? Like we traded as a GAM.
It was 150,000, if I'm not mistaken. GAM we traded
to the Whitecaps.
To the Whitecaps
discovery rights.
Discovery rights, yeah.
Because they have this. What do? They do like a fantasy draft and they figure out who gets what player. Like I don't understand the process of the discovery rights. But whatever, doesn't matter who discovered him. We got him. That's all that matters.
Yeah, we've been loading up on all of this GAM. We had a bunch. I think it was 3 million and something. So we've been loading up on all of this, and this is exactly why we were able to get a player of this caliber. If I'd say I know exactly what kind of player he is and what he's going to bring to the team, I'd be lying, to be honest, to everybody watching.
He's a fun player, and he brings scoring. That's all that matters.
That's right. That's right. So he's a young guy, a lot of promise. Atletico Madrid liked him so much to pick him up. So that in itself says something. And like I think David was one of those saying it's a position of need, or Julio saying it, as a backup striker. So it's going to be perfect timing. This schedule is very congested. If we keep on going with the CONCACAF Cup and all of that, it's continuously congested, and we have all these tournaments coming up. So perfect signing, perfect timing. And I doubt he'll be here to play on Sunday. Maybe in the backup role. It was just made official yesterday, wasn't it? So I doubt it. I doubt he's been with the team much. But you never know.
I thought he had been here. No?
There was a rumor last week, I think it was, that they saw him at the airport or something. But I guess I don't know. I don't know how all that visa stuff works with these players. But
well, they can be here without the visa. It's just working.
Well, I think it's about working. Yeah, actually working with the team.
Fun thing about soccer is it's a game. You don't need to work to kick a ball
game.
around.
Yes, indeed. So the other, I guess, most pressing matter is Messi's health status, as is a common and recurring theme that I think we're going to be dealing with all season. But he was dealing with some, adductor pain. Chris, you gave us like a really good showing of where that is on Heron Heads After Dark. But
lower groin, inside thigh area.
Right. So his status is uncertain for Saturday. I think he's expected to miss, but nothing official has been stated. These are just rumors from the great internet where people can post anything and it must be true. So I'm curious to see how we continue to handle this as a club, and whether or not Messi plays is really just unclear. It's a great matchup because it's an area of strength for Philadelphia at the left back position, where Messi would potentially line up against, even as a right-sided striker. So I'm hopeful that he plays, of course, but we will maybe learn more tomorrow, but probably not, given how the club has always handled Messi's injury status. But his availability is up in the air again.
I feel like he has to miss just to save face for the Argentina faithful, because you know what it is, he doesn't travel. Like, it's one thing to not play, but to not even travel and be with the squad, I feel like he has to miss a match just to show face. Granted, he's Messi, he doesn't do anything, but I feel like he does love that club so much that he feels like he owes it to them to be like, look, you see, I didn't even play for my club team. But
yeah,
never have I felt more confident in Messi not playing than with this iteration of Inter Miami with Mash at the helm, because we made it work with Tata for a long stretch without him and still pulled out a long stretch of wins. But we've been saying it, we feel way more confident with how Tata just organizes the club, that we can kind of like compensate for that loss.
You mean how Mascherano organizes the club? You said that.
I said no. I said that we were able to do well with Tata last season.
Okay.
I think you included an extra Tata in there.
Yeah, there was. It's all right.
It's back. All right. If you don't play it back right now, it's because you agree with me.
If Dave messed up, leave a comment and let him know. He loves to see that.
Also, are we going to talk about earlier today?
We're going to SofaScore already?
No, I'm done.
Okay.
Today we had a really cool experience.
It's going off script.
Here goes Jose.
Jose special. We have I think we tried a different. I'm not gonna do it. Just you do, Julio.
Jesus Christ.
No, please. You already began.
No, I'm done. I got my stuff already. But I feel like we should talk about that a little bit.
Go for it.
I was on a different podcast today. It was fun. Had a great time.
What was the name of the podcast?
786 for the Cultura, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay.
Are you done, Jose?
Asked and answered, sir. I mean, what are we doing for
that? So Jose's talking about, we were invited to go check out Cultura Media today, just to see their place cards. And it was for a podcast of theirs called El Big League Show. For those of you in the States or even out of the States that follow Major League Baseball, today was opening day, so they had a big live podcast, just watching the Marlins game, the Miami Marlins game, and we just happened to walk in at the same time, and they welcomed us with open arms, and we were able to just chat with the guys there for a little bit. So we appreciate that. Thank you for that, and it was fun. We had a good time. Is that what you were talking about, Jose?
Exactly that.
Was that more eloquently said?
I appreciate that. You know what? If I stumble upon you guys, just just pick up the pieces. I love that.
There's gonna be a day that we can't pick up pieces, and you're gonna be left in no man's land.
Shoes. It's not that we did not start one. We walked into the one, and it was so I went from looking for a place to park my car, and all of a sudden they're like, "Here, Jose, give him a mic." I'm like, "What? What are we talking about?"
At least you had a place to sit. They put me in the corner, and I didn't know what was happening. I didn't even know that there was a camera.
That was a hot seat right there.
Yeah, a lot of chairs, a lot of cameras.
It was fun though. It was a really good time. But yeah, no intention of starting a baseball podcast because I feel like I'd be talking to myself.
We'll leave that to those guys. They do a great job. It was fun. It's something different. But back to what we're talking about here, as I rudely just went off script. We have our little. These guys try to keep me on a leash, and I don't do well. I just gotta go, just do other things.
You're a peacock. We gotta let you fly.
So where are we? We're in Messi's hell. Are we still there?
The guy goes off script.
Let's move on. Let's do a quick international duty whip around, and talk about the players that went on international duty from Inter Miami. There were only 4. There was Cremaschi, Santi Morales, Noah Allen, and Telasco Segovia. Cremaschi started and captained the team in a 3-0 win against Mexico.
Yep.
And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was actually surprised to hear that he I didn't watch it, but to hear that he captained the match. That's amazing. I didn't expect it, to be honest. Just from what we've seen here in Inter Miami, we've kind of been down on him recently, and to see him go there, captain that team, and just be the leader of those guys is impressive. Awesome.
Who are we talking about right now?
Kremasky. Jesus Christ.
I agree. Very, very disappointing thus far.
What? we're lauding that he was captain.
His captain
for the U.S. men's national youth.
Jose's very disappointed.
It's incredible. Santi Morales also captained the under 18 club. So that was a really cool development for Santi as well. He's played really well.
Well earned.
Yeah, I agree. So he captained the team against Morocco, which ended in a draw, but nonetheless, really cool for Santi to get the exposure at the national level, even if it's the under 18. I mean, you have to sort of set those foundational building blocks. So super cool for Santi and Crema. And then we had Noah Allen, who substituted in the first match, I believe, and started the second match. Both were draws against Albania and Bulgaria for the U21 Greek national team. And then Telasco Segovia started against Ecuador, which was a loss, and substituted against Peru, which was a win. And that's that. No goal contributions for any of them, but really cool for them to participate and gain reps with the national teams. And also, I mean, with the exception of, well, I guess Crema, I feel like could use the confidence boost of all of them, because the other 3 have played really well with Inter Miami. So hopefully Crema can take that confidence boost and apply it, because I think he's going to keep getting minutes for the time being. Especially
if Messi's out this weekend. I mean, I think that's prime locations to just plug him in, like we've seen already this season. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but I think that may be an option for him.
But now he has to compete with Baltasar Rodriguez as well. So it's a little bit of a more crowded room for him.
Has he been training with the team? I don't know. I haven't noticed.
I would assume so. They announced him 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think of the usually they show like training things like that, and I don't remember seeing him.
Gotcha.
Open your eyes.
So, yeah, I'm excited. I think Santi's been doing really well, and one thing whenever you guys go on international, what's the one thing that we all get nervous about, right? Injuries. Everything's fine. We can move on, right, and get into, and they didn't miss any time for us, which is even better. So yeah, it's great bullet point, Julio. We're ready for the next one.
Well, let's talk about this match against Philadelphia. So we obviously don't know the status of Messi and whether he'll play or not, but there's lots of other players that are very fun to watch on this Inter Miami club. This team has been exciting and good, really, in all phases of the game. So who are you most looking forward to watching from the Inter Miami side? Who's really like the key to this match against Philadelphia for you?
Noah Allen.
He's your key. Wow.
I think he had a bad game the last time he was with us. I know he did. He had a yellow card. He had a least of the match honors, and hoping for a bounce back. I think when we have a very solid back line, to be honest, he's becoming our little anchor. I don't know what to tell you guys, but he's becoming our little anchor right next to Jordy right over there. Just he's slotted himself right in there, and just gets the captain armband once in a while. He's proven himself. I'm excited to see where he's developed, but he's gonna have ups and down games, but we're gonna need him to be on because this is the top team in the MLS, folks, and I hope Messi doesn't sit. I know you guys are saying that he should sit because he literally just sat in the prior game and he didn't go to Argentina, etc. But ultimately, like,
that was David said that.
I said I expect that. I didn't say he should.
David says he should. So yeah, I mean,
David doesn't want Messi to play, confirmed.
Sad. So yeah, I mean, I would love him to play that because I want to see how we rank up against this team. You know what I'm saying? Are they legit? Let's find out. But I want Noah Allen to get his best. Enjoy.
I think a big key that goes to Noah Allen playing well is the fact that we will get Ustadi back at goal. I think that is a humongous X factor for us. We've seen how different the back line looks without him at net. So that's who I'm looking at. I'm looking to see if he can restabilize that back line because it was looking a little frenetic at times in the last match. So I think if we get Ustadi back and he's healthy, because I know he kind of got dinged up the last match that he did play, but I think we should be okay with Ustadi at net. I'm not going to branch off into other players as much as I want to, so I'll just leave it at Ustadi as my X factor.
I'm going to go with Velasco Segovia because I think he's going to be directly filling in Messi's spot. I think he's going to be playing sort of that 10 position there in the middle. He's going to be key. He's done it already a few times that Messi's been out. Again, the last couple matches, he hasn't been completely on it. Don't know why, but we have seen him. We have seen the spurts of good play from him, good form. We've seen the goals that he scored, and he scored the match winner recently. So I think he's going to be the key to unlock our attack and really have that connection up front with Allende and Suarez. Hopefully Messi plays. I really want Messi to play, obviously, but I do think that there's that chance he doesn't. So if that's the case, Segovia is going to be the guy for me to watch.
Yeah, and Allende is actually who I was going to say. So I think his ability to create opportunities for the team, whether it's himself or by passing off to another player, he has a really good way of using his size to make it really difficult for defenders to figure out what's going on and really what to do, because at the same time they're going to have to be dealing with Luis Suarez. So whether he has gaps in the defense to exploit or he can pass off because the defenders are starting to give him more attention, I think Allende will be key in unlocking a pretty good Philadelphia defense. And if Messi's not playing, Allende may occupy a little bit more of the right-hand side, which, as I mentioned before, will be sort of Kai Wagner's territory. So little, I guess, bleeds into the player to watch on the Philadelphia side. But I think Kai Wagner is really one of the most important pieces for the Philadelphia Union's success or failure. If he has a good game, that's not a good sign for the opposition. So Kai Wagner, moving on to sort of the next topic, is my Philadelphia Union player to watch. And I think Allende could give him problems if he has a good game, which we know he can.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the easy one. Is Baribo from Philly. He has 6 goals this season already in 4 matches. That's insane. And going back to Jose's player to watch, Noah Allen, that's going to be the matchup to watch there. Him and whoever the other center back is going to be. I love how we're assuming that Noah Allen's going to automatically be the starter going forward. But either whether it's Falcon, Allen, Toto, whoever is going to be the pair to start, they're going to have their hands full with Baribo. It's going to be an interesting one to watch. We spoke about last episode, I believe it was, who were the attackers to kind of watch in the Eastern Conference. We left him out. We chose other obvious ones in the East, but he's definitely a number 9 that could really affect and challenge our backline.
Yeah, I was going to say Baribo too. Thanks a lot for that, Chris. And I was going to say the same stat, the 6 goals. You just got to take that from everybody, right?
Jose, did you know? I'll give you some time to look up quickly someone else. Did you know?
I have someone.
Okay, perfect. Tai Baribo has 6 goals in 4 games. If he scores 1 goal in this next game, he will be tied for the most goals in the first 5 matches in the MLS, like in an MLS career, I guess, if you want to call it that, in his debut season in the MLS. So, did you know?
That's a great did you know, let me tell you.
Did you know, Julio, that we're going to put Baribo in the doghouse and he's not going to score 1 goal?
I didn't know, but I had a feeling.
How about that? We're going to have
who's doghouse?
Ustadi's going to get the key and throw it away, and guess what? It's going to be locked in there forever. Having said that, I think that one thing that I'm looking forward to seeing, you already said Kai Wagner, right, Julio, but he also has a running mate in the back line, Westfield, which has also been doing very well. So I'm interested to see how we play, because it's one of those things where it's like we had this lull, right? We had this long period of not playing with each other. Let's see how we're going to deal with a very good back line as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's exciting to see how we stack up. I really hope that Messi does play, just because I want to see how we stack up.
And then sticking with my pick for Inter Miami, I'm going to do the opposite with Philadelphia. I'm going to say Andre Blake is the player I want to watch the most, because we've seen this team get the best of him. He's had good matches leading up to games against Inter Miami, and we've been able to just make him look foolish. So I hope that we can continue to be his boogeyman, and what Atlanta did to us. Hopefully we can just do the opposite to him and just really put it on him and frustrate him. That's the best. When you can get inside a goalkeeper's head, you're halfway to the game. And I think that we've been able to do that in the past, and I'm looking forward to do it again.
Did you know that Philly has won 5 out of the last 6 games?
And their only loss came due to a red card as well, so that you have to take that loss with a grain of salt.
So
did you know that Inter Miami is unbeaten and we've had red cards?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It takes a special kind of animal to dominate with red cards, and you're looking at
animal.
That's right.
We're that animal.
So, as far as Inter Miami goes, I guess assuming that you think we're going to score a goal, who do you think is the most likely to score a goal?
Although I said my key player to watch is Segovia, I'm going to go with your key player, Julio, and I think Allende is going to be that guy. We've seen what he could do. His size is a huge threat in itself, and he's been working really nicely with Suarez up front, I believe. So Allende probably has a goal, I think, and we'll get into the predictions in a little bit as far as how many goals, what's the scoreline. But I think Suarez and Allende team up for a few goals. So it'll be nice to watch.
Yeah, I think without Messi, Suarez is going to be the focal point of the offense. So either he finds himself with an assist or with a goal. I think he's going to have his fair share of chances. So that's who I'm highlighting as the most likely scorer for Inter Miami. If it's a 1-0 game, it's Suarez, El Pistolero.
Yeah, Pistolero. He's been on a little bit of a fun little stretch. I like how he's playing right now, and I just I don't see why not. I think it's going to be very fun. Oh, okay, Wagner. Oh, he's very good. I'm just gonna push him out of the way and score.
Every time anyone starts to doubt El Pistolero, including us, that we're like, oh, he's looking a little hobbled on the pitch, and then out of nowhere he has 2 goals and an assist, or 2 assists and a goal. It's just it just happens so quickly for him.
Yeah,
and that goes to his quality. That goes to his quality that on an instant, if he gets the chance, that he's very, very good on ball.
And he's just doing a little differently this season too. He's being kind of like a facilitator up front. He's having his assists. He's making really nice passes. Yeah, he doesn't have that pace. He still has the motor, the want to get to the ball, the want to make these plays. He's not nimble as he's used to being, but he's still making the right plays, the right passes, playing very smart. We haven't seen him go too crazy as far as the yellow cards go and all that we've seen. So he's playing very smart this season. I think it's a little bit of a different Suarez than what we've been used to. And maybe that's because, like David says, that Messi's been out. So maybe he's had to kind of take on a little bit of a different role. But yeah, he's had a little bit of a different season. It's been fun to watch.
How interesting is this? We're all talking about different players we're looking and hoping to see. No real mention of Busquets or Jordi Alba. I feel like this season they've kind of taken the back seat to some of these newcomers, and that's kind of a nice thing, because I don't think their quality has really dropped off. I just think that the quality of everybody else has kind of come up a little bit, so they're more complementary. But that's nice that we're not just like honking the horn of the same 4 guys constantly.
Well, that was last year. This year it's a lot of new guys, and it's a lot of spikes also, right? Like we're seeing a new little stew brewing right now for Inter Miami, and it's just a lot of young flair, and that's why we're talking about Segovia. He's fun to watch. We also talked a lot about Suarez. He's not very new at all, but I think also we haven't had one of those like dominant Alba games, But the moment we do, I think we're gonna be forgetting. When he gets it going, I feel like we're unstoppable with Alba,
And what's nice is that it's not just new players, but it's new players that are contributing often.
Yeah. And I think Busquets too is playing a different. I know he's playing a different role than what he's been playing the last 2 seasons with Tata, just because Mascherano's playing that kind of double pivot down below. So I think it's just different. So we're not seeing him so much helping as much in the attack and all of that. He's kind of staying back with whoever his running mate is that match, either Bright or Redondo, whoever Mascherano decides to go with. But I think that's why we're maybe not noticing him as much, but he's still doing the dirty work in the back, and he's still making the right calls and the right plays and kind of just calming everything down on defense and leading up to the attack.
I'll tell you where we're not seeing him. Center back. And I'm all about it.
Definitely.
Well, because other people have stepped up in center back, to be honest. Like, our background is so good, like, we don't need him to be back there.
We should have never had him back there. We had him out of pure necessity.
Not tinkering. We can talk about that now. It was a phase where it was an era of Inter Miami. Just
the tinker era.
Yeah. But I was. Do you guys have any more points? There's something I wanted to compare.
I was just gonna say for goal scorer, I'm gonna go with the Atlanta hero. I'm gonna go with Fafa. I think we haven't really mentioned Fafa, and now that he's fit, he can be reintegrated into the team. If Messi doesn't play, we could see a front line maybe of Suarez, Fafa, and Allende, which I think is super fun, and I would love to see that.
Me and Northern Thai Garden guy, almost at the exact same time I was about to say, I'm like, we have so much at our disposal. It's look at this. Like, there's so many options for us to say, and we still keep getting guys to come in and really reinforce the squad. This is such a different feeling from last season. It's just I can't wrap my mind around.
We haven't even talked about Bright.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the team is so much better. It's so much better than last year at every level. Like, I don't lack confidence of any of the position groups.
I'm gonna tell you, this is a huge game where we can make a statement. This is the top of the leaderboard, top of the standing. That's it. Just knock them off and just show them who's boss, and that's it. That's what I want.
If we pull this win off, I mean, like you said, it's a huge statement. Look at the last few matchups that we had: Atlanta, Charlotte, they're just top dogs in the East, and we've just been knocking them off. And if we knock off Philly right now, with red cards, if we knock off Philly right now, that's a huge statement game. Everyone who's complaining about Inter Miami being top of the power rankings and all that stuff, this is a way to just shut them up completely. There's no other excuse to give them.
I need to inject some of this comment in my veins. For some reason, I believe we'll go unbeaten this year. Oh my god,
that's a cocky Miami fan.
Cocky Inter Miami fans back, maybe.
We're so back. Did you guys ever? Okay, now I'm gonna do that little comparison. You guys can tell me I'm wrong, and we can move on. I'm sure Dave will. Did you guys ever watch Diego Costa towards the end of his career?
Yeah.
I feel like Luis Suarez is taking that on a little bit, right? Where he's not necessarily he's using more of his skill set, playmaking wise, his strength. And I felt like when I was watching Diego Costa, I feel like that was something that he would provide in his later.
Yeah, definitely. I think Suarez is only slightly different in his ability to pass. Seems like it's really taken a forefront this season. And Diego Costa was a very prolific scorer till the very end. Not that Suarez hasn't been contributing by scoring goals, but Costa was like a goal machine and didn't have a ton other of great abilities, but he knew how to find the back of the net. And Suarez definitely can still do that, but I think he also adds a little bit of the passing ability to a front line that's been really dangerous. Like I said earlier, the others contributing has been, it's the reason why this season everyone feels better is everyone's actually contributing this season. It's not just the big four.
All right, and one more that I got. Gomez. Right now, we have Gomez right now. Is he the best person to start at the wing for our team right now?
Probably.
I'm not disputing.
Yeah, probably.
He is. I love him, right? But I'm just saying, like, the way that we have Segovia and Allende right now, like, I feel like those are way better suited for our style of play right now than if we inject a Gomez. You know what I'm saying?
It's just what they do is they round out the squad. You have two players that fit, as opposed to one player that does one thing. But the thing is, I love Gomez, but he wasn't anything crazy that really changed the game that much. There were times where he can kind of take over and press and cause a turnover and score, but that happened maybe three times the whole season. While you have these guys who Segovia is a little more well-rounded, that he's kind of pressuring guys, but Allende is constantly putting pressure on to score. So Gomez, as much as we loved him, wasn't pressing to score that much. It's not his real style of play. So getting two players that can kind of fill more needed roles throughout the squad, I think it's more important than having just one Gomez.
Especially with Suarez maybe not taking a little bit of a backseat and being the primary scorer, right? And serving.
I don't even know if Suarez is taking a backseat. I just think that it's the same approach, just with other guys that can execute.
Exactly. These guys are finishing their runs, they're finishing their shots, they're getting the ball in the back of the net, which we weren't seeing.
The last ingredient that we're missing in that midfield, I'm gonna be honest with you, is Redondo. When you said Kevin De Bruyne, I like
he's so thrown off now.
Just threw me off completely. Yes, that's exactly what we're missing. 100%, I agree. But Redondo, like I feel like, man, I feel like he's our last ingredient. So someone next to Boosie just being able to contribute in the game and be a net positive. I don't know if we're seeing that from him right now. And that's the last thing I feel like if we were to get that from him, we'd be a little, we'd be quite scary.
We're seeing it from Bright.
I was gonna say I'd rather see Bright out there and what he does. Honestly,
well, it's not that I'd rather see Bright. I'm glad that we see what we see from Bright. If Redondo can take another step forward, fantastic. It's not that I'd rather see one. We want everybody to do well, and Redondo, if he can just fulfill the promise, I think that's more along the lines of what Jose's saying. Because I think if Redondo does what he was advertised to do, it brings a different dynamic than Bright. Bright's a hawk. He makes everybody's life miserable. But Redondo was supposed to be the skilled transitional player in the box and be able to play defense, but also really open it up, passing, moving forward. So if he can harness that, but at this stage, we're not seeing it, and I don't think that you gotta keep putting him in there extensive minutes when he's not feeling it. Get him right in training, and that's the good thing about all these different tournaments. It's you do have opportunities to put him in and get his legs underneath him. Those matches against the Jamaican squad were really for that, like to get these players exposure and not have it. And honestly, the MLS season too, because there's so many games that it is a good spot for him to get his feet underneath him.
Yeah, and it's really good to have healthy competition, right? And it's not like just competition where you have to bench someone and you're sort of dropping off. Like we're dropping off because we have other players that are as good, if not better, than the other options or the A option. So when you go from Redondo, who we thought was going to be kind of a stud, and he's been fine. He's had a couple good stretches, but overall, probably not as good.
He's been a disappointment,
right?
Before.
So the fact,
him,
the fact that you have Bright, who's been better than we expected, and you also have other players coming in like Segovia. You have Allende, who's plugged in, and now we have Baltasar, who we'll see eventually. It's such a good problem to have depth. And quality depth where you can rotate out of Redondo and it's not a market decrease in quality. So I find that to be so refreshing because
it's a luxury.
Last season it was like we had a lot of injuries last year, but this year we have a lot of depth. Like
it was just
overprepared.
You had a nice veneer, and then if that veneer cracked, there was just nothing behind.
And then to make matters worse, we had Tata tinkering.
Correct.
Yeah, well, that's him trying to figure something out. Yeah.
I think at times he was just pressured to tinker. I don't think he had any other reason. He just had to.
So I've left this question pinned for a minute here, but I think it's a really interesting question. How much do you attribute player acquisitions to Mascherano and how much to Messi?
Well, I do attribute it more to Mascherano when it comes to these younger players, as opposed to Messi. Well, I see where you're coming with that question because Mascherano for scouting them and kind of understanding who's done what in competition against him, but Messi's the draw, and I'm sure a lot of these guys who've had opportunities to do other things. They see the chance of playing with Messi and they're like, I got to take that while I can. So ultimately, I think I would say it more likely falls on Mascherano for doing the legwork, and Messi's just the closer.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect answer, to be honest. That's similar to what I was going to say about the whole young.
That's what I was hoping one of you would say. That's exactly correct, in my opinion.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Everybody agrees. I gotta disagree somehow.
Go disagree, Jose. Go for it.
I don't disagree. That is true. That's exactly it.
I think that's the right way to see it. Is Mascherano's like Messi's not sitting at the scouting department and looking up SofaScore like Jose would. But Messi is the appeal, right? Mascherano can go to these young players that have a lot of promise and say, "Hey, come play with us for a couple of years. Come play with Messi for a couple of years." And that's like, especially for the South American players. Yeah, correct.
Perfect. Shu says Messi's the carrot, Mascherano is the guy holding the stick. And that's perfect. It's true.
Exactly.
It's true.
Yeah, Mascherano's there identifying the players, understanding, hey, I've seen these players for a couple of years in South America performing at a high level. They have a lot of ability, a lot of promise. And it's just like you have the chance to play alongside Messi and learn from some of the greats, Alba, Busquets. We have legendary players at every level. So regardless of where the player plays, there's someone that he can learn from that is like a generational talent. So it's like a huge luxury.
That's something I have to say. We have 69 viewers right now. If anybody can like and subscribe, please do so. It's at the bottom right.
Unless you're listening on audio, then
what do you do there?
Whatever you do there.
Leave us a rating.
5 stars.
We're here begging because it makes a difference.
I mean, I'm not begging. I'm saying do it.
There you go. Do it. So let's do something here. Let's talk about score predictions. And is Dave Stradamus in the building, or is La Peluca in the building? I guess is that your new name these days?
He's also a big carrot guy.
Lovely. It looks like he styled it a little bit.
All right. What's
Did you
happening?
put gel in there today?
Just
Looks a little shiny.
Looks tiny because I don't think I got it in all the way.
What's happening there?
All right, so let's jump into score predictions for Inter Miami versus Philadelphia here.
So last time I predicted 2-1, and that's exactly what we got. But Julio said that was boring. It was accurate, but boring. So this time we're going to be accurate and unboring.
Uh-oh.
We're going to get a 3-0 skunk.
Ooh,
Inter Miami is going to go ahead and get the 3-0 skunk. Suarez and Allende find the back of the net. Not too sure who that third player is, but it's going to be somebody unexpected. Maybe Alba finds a way into the back of the net. I don't know.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Dang.
All right, thanks for that. I'm predicting a 2-0 skunk.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Ustadi's back. That back line is just just ready to go. Ready to put that little man in a little cage. We're not gonna allow goals today. We're not gonna allow goals, guys. That's it. It's done. The reign is over.
All right, I'm gonna not go that bold. I'm gonna go. This team's good, and I'm gonna go with a 3-2 win for Miami. I think they're gonna give, like we said about earlier, I think they're gonna give our backline some trouble. They have some firepower, and but I think we have more firepower at the end of the day. Our attack is super strong. Suarez is gonna get one. Allende is gonna get one, and actually no, let's do 2 for Suarez, 1 for Allende. Let's do that. There you go.
What's happening here?
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna be boring and say 2-1.
Oh.
I was gonna say 3-2, but I honestly think it's not gonna be so high scoring. I think it's gonna be a cagey affair, as one might say. And yeah, Fafa and Suarez get on the score sheet. I think we have still some deficiencies in defense. We saw against Atlanta that aerial attacks can give us some problems, and if Philadelphia is able to whip in some passes from Kai Wagner on the left side, it could give us some problems. So I'm going to say 2-1. I don't think we keep the clean sheet, although this defense and with Ustadi back, they can certainly do it. So I would not be surprised if Dave or Jose was right on this one.
Nice.
So yeah, Chris, any closing sentiments here?
There always is. Now, since we didn't have a live or show this weekend, since we were off on international break, let's do a quick little recap of what the standings look like. So Philadelphia did jump us. They're number 1 in the East. Charlotte technically jumped us just because of the goal differential. So we got Philadelphia, Charlotte, and then Miami. But we're technically tied with Charlotte, Nashville, and Chicago at 10 points. So there was some action this weekend, and some teams did jump up and catch up to us. So we got to win, man. That's all we got to do. Just got to beat these people.
Do you guys know how many goals we've allowed the last 4 games?
Goals allowed? 4.
No.
Very wrong.
Atlanta was 1. 3 total in the 4 games?
I'm looking at the MLS app right now. It's just 4.
1.
It's just a 1?
1 in 4 games.
Oh, because we're talking about the Jamaica team twice. I'm
talking about just MLS. Okay.
Enjoy.
Pretty good. Pretty good, Bob.
You're muted.
I was just mumbling to myself. I'm like, it was a trick question.
Just muttering to himself. Duped again by Jose. So there's going to be a quick turnaround. We have the match on Saturday against Philadelphia, and then next Wednesday, late night with the Herons, 11:30 kickoff against LA in LA. So we will discuss amongst ourselves over here to see what we're going to do for that match, whether it's a watch along or if we just sort of
sleep over.
Yeah.
Party.
But we will be live after the match on Saturday against Philadelphia, and hopefully we will have the old pots and pans celebrating another Inter Miami victory. To everyone still listening and watching, thank you so much for joining us on the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave us a rating, follow us at the Heron Heads on all social media platforms. And until Saturday, hope you have a great evening, great day, and we'll see you Saturday. Bye.
We'll be right back.